Okay. Good morning.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to
Yes.
you too. I'm dressed as a fanatic Nancy Pelosi supporter, which I am.
I thought you're perpetuating the stereotype that Elon Musk tweeted out yesterday.
I just can't. We've already we started the show, by the way, 5 minutes before the show.
Yes, we did.
So if you're joining in progress, we're talking about how we live in the stupidest timeline. The stupidest, most awful time. I don't know why I thought this might shock anyone's conscience. Remember after January 6th, we're like, oh, well, this has got to shake them up enough to, which it did for a day. And that, I mean, it's just, remember, you were still here. So the news broke during our show Friday, and you and I were like, we don't want to speculate, but we're going to speculate.
Yeah, we know.
You're like,
you know.
come on. Yeah, this was random. And then you were still here when I was like, oh, my God, this is just like January 6th with that creepy, where is Nancy?
Yeah.
And it's a lot of people tweeted that. January 6th hasn't stopped. It isn't over.
Nope.
No.
That's why there's got to be consequences. And just when you think like, oh, no, they won't be awful about this, you're like, oh, and it's not just the right wing. That's what I mean. There's no difference now between the right wing lunatic Ronna McDaniel.
Yeah.
It's like Fox News, they're blaming Pelosi, which like they did for January 6th. Democrats soft on crime policies. What, really? Like this was a random crime. Thank you, by the way, to Max Boot, who wrote a piece, former conservative,
Yes.
right? Wrote a piece, opinion, don't blame both sides. The right is driving political violence.
Yeah.
It is absolutely statistically and in every other way true.
Yeah. I think the
But they
article
will
said-
never, here's why we're in the stupidest timeline. Because this happens, and rather than taking any responsibility or going, oh, holy, this rhetoric's got to stop. This was an assassination attempt on the second in line to the presidency. They double down on crazier conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that, oh, it was a gay lover's spat. And you're like, what? That didn't actually. I had to, like, I was like, no, they weren't saying that. And I'm like, oh, yeah. As you just said, Elon Musk. What a depressing weekend between this and Elon Musk taking over Twitter. And use of what the N-word is up, what, 500%?
That's they're saying.
And he's going to charge $20 a month for a blue check. Did you see that this
Oh,
morning?
well, we can finally buy one, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, who is this? Lindy Lee said Elon Musk shared a debunked theory about Paul Pelosi from an outlet that said Hillary died 6 years ago and was replaced by a body double, and that Kanye would be made Undersecretary of the Interior. That doesn't exist. Nothing to see here. Just the new owner of Twitter pushing QAnon lies. So I guess he deleted it, but I'm like, oh my God. Don Jr. just tweet. It gets more and more off. And you knew Don Jr. would be the most awful.
Of course.
The Halloween costume of a hammer and underpants.
Yeah.
And Paul Pelosi was in his underpants because he was sleeping. He's 82 years old. It was the middle of the night.
Yes.
Do we know how he was dressed?
I don't even know if we know that.
We don't know.
Or whether that's just playing into the, it was a gay lover's spat. Paul Pelosi's not gay. It was not a gay. It was a right-wing MAGA lunatic that was looking to assassinate Nancy Pelosi, period.
And if he was gay, he would not be wearing those underpants.
Thank you, Travis.
Yeah, right?
Sorry, I just want to, if we're going to make this, if we're going to go there, let's make it accurate.
We've lost our humanity. I'm like, apparently no one can picture that being their husband or father or grandfather that had to go through brain surgery because he was, okay. I have to say, it was a little magical, my ability to still be shocked. The right wing. Where was it? Yes, Ronna McDaniel. Give me 18.
All right.
Again, not just lunatic fringe, just not
This
taking
is
any
party
responsibility.
Leadership. Party leadership spouting
Right.
lies.
Right. Yes.
For many
hang on one sec. The day of, right? The day of, she's like, let's fire. Who wants to fire Pelosi? You don't take a second to go. Let's send some
Let's think
thoughts
about
and
what's
prayers
going
to
on.
Speaker Pelosi
Yeah.
and her family. Okay.
For many Democrats, the attack on Nancy Pelosi's husband represents the all but inevitable conclusion of Republicans' increasingly violent and threatening rhetoric toward their political opponents. Still a lot we don't know about this case, but what do you make of that accusation?
Well, I think that's unfair. I think this is a deranged individual. You can't say people saying, let's fire Pelosi or let's take back the House is saying go do violence. It's just unfair.
Except for when your ads all
As
have
if
people
January
shooting guns
Yeah, exactly.
saying fire Pelosi.
Yes, one more. Ronna McDaniel.
I think we all need to recognize violence is up across the board. Lee Zeldin was attacked.
Oh,
we
my
had an
God.
assassination attempt against Brett Kavanaugh, and Democrats didn't didn't
did.
repudiate that. Joe
Yes, we
Biden
did.
didn't talk about the assassination attempt against Brett Kavanaugh.
we
But I
did.
think the other thing to remember is if this weren't Paul Pelosi, this criminal would probably be out on the street tomorrow. We saw Lee Zeldin's attacker was on the street right after he attacked him. This
Yes.
is what Democrat
Hold, please,
policies
Travis.
are bringing.
Travis.
Lee Zeldin's guy was released
Yes.
by one of Lee Zeldin's campaign managers.
Yes, so they
who
could
is the
make a
DA
campaign issue
for
out
the
of-
area where it happened.
Because they are awful. They are awful as a party. They've
Yeah.
just become awful, a party of awful humans.
Yeah.
That's I don't know even what else to say. I couldn't even go into the right-wing fever swamp, right? It is very far. Just the whole, like, oh, this is the second time Paul Pelosi's been hammered in a month, referring to his DUI. I'm like, holy crap. When did we lose just any sense of, lose our souls? Okay, I don't. Yes, Don Lewis says, N-word use up nearly 500% since Elon took over Twitter. Was it just Friday? Did this just happen Friday? He took over Twitter? Yeah.
Yes.
Is Musk about free speech or hate speech? Well, I would say hate speech, right?
Yeah.
And conspiracy theories. That's what. Okay. Can I just had to find one fine American. Is he still to call himself a conservative, Max Boot, or no? Washington Post.
He left the party.
He said it should not be controversial to say that America has a major problem with right-wing political violence. The evidence continues to accumulate, yet the GOP continues to not deny responsibility for this horrifying trend. The same day as the Pelosi attack, a man pled guilty to making death threats against Representative Eric Swalwell. 2 days earlier, three men who were motivated by right-wing anti-lockdown hysteria after COVID were convicted of aiding a plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. In August, another man died after attacking the FBI office because he was upset about the Bureau's search of Mar-a-Lago. Then there are all the terrible hate crimes in cities that include Pittsburgh, El Paso, and Buffalo, where gunmen were motivated by the kind of racist rhetoric, especially the Great Replacement theory, now openly espoused on Fox News. Violence is up across the board, as we just heard. Ronna McDaniel, RNC chair, say, arguing it's unfair to blame anti-Pelosi rhetoric for the assault. Violence is unacceptable, whether it's from left or right, period, but we can't allow GOP leaders to get away with false moral equivalency. They are evading the responsibility for the extremist rhetoric that all too often motivates extremist actions. Since September 11th, far-right terrorists have killed 122 people in the U.S., compared with one killed by a far leftist. There is little doubt about what is driving political violence, the ascendance of Trump. Thank you. Threats against members of Congress have risen more than tenfold since Trump's election in 2016. In the assault, the MAGA base seethed with sick jokes, making light of the violence and insane conspiracy theories. Dinesh D'Souza was one of the people who said it was a romantic tryst that went awry.
Yep.
Carrie Lake, the GOP nominee for governor of Arizona. No difference in the mainstream and people that want to be... Okay. Blame leftist elected officials who have not enforced the laws. Naturally, Republicans accuse Democrats of being divisive for citing Republican rhetoric as a contributing factor to political violence. Right? Then it's us being divisive
Yep.
Yeah.
for saying you are getting people killed. Okay.
Why are you being so divisive?
See, there I am. There I am again. So this, good Lord. Here we go, into the fever swamp. The man arrested in the attack on Nancy Pelosi's husband filled a blog the week before the incident with delusional thoughts, including that an invisible fairy attacked an acquaintance and sometimes appeared to him in the form of a bird. I'm not going to say his name. Published hundreds of blog posts in recent months sharing memes in support of fringe commentators and far-right personalities. Many of the posts were filled with screeds against Jews, black people, Democrats, the media, and transgender people. He published a drawing of the devil kneeling and asking a caricature of a Jewish person to teach him the arts of lying, deception, cheating, and incitement. Several contained lifelike images of rotting human flesh and blood, including a zombified Bill Gates and Hillary Clinton. Oh, that was Elon Musk was replying to Hillary Clinton with his stupid,
Yes.
conspiracy
A
theory.
little cartoon bird was telling him to murder someone?
I don't know.
That's basically Lily Tomlin in 9 to 5.
Okay, that's really
What?
It's a spot on cultural
a
reference.
comedy. Right. He also he had blogged, this lunatic. No evidence of election fraud. Any journalist saying that should be dragged straight out onto the street and shot. I mean, this is all January 6th. It's all. I swear that the big lie is around the ego of one man.
Yeah.
Causing all of this. But it just, all of these conspiracy theories end up just getting dumped together, and then when something like this happens, they just start a new one rather than saying anybody is responsible. It's okay. Where am I? There's so much. I did have you print all of Twitter. Joe Walsh, former Republican as well. This is what America looks like when one of our two major political parties has been overtaken by liars, election deniers, and conspiracy theorists. Please, God, for the love of America, for the love of God, for the love of anything you find holy, please vote blue in a week. That is the only way we can return to sanity. You've got to vote. I mean, I have to hope this motivates sane, decent people to... Okay. Yes, Andrew Wortman said, this morning the new CEO of Twitter used it to tell Hillary Clinton that Nancy Pelosi's husband's attacker, who was trying to kill the speaker herself, was a man he had met while drunk at a gay bar, perpetuating a baseless, bigoted conspiracy theory to his 112 million followers.
He deleted it?
He did.
He did.
Is that the best we can do? That's as high as
honestly,
the bar gets.
That's the bar. Yeah. So he deleted it.
I did file a complaint with Twitter for spreading disinformation, and he deleted it afterwards. So I'm going to say my complaint went through.
I'm going to say it was you.
And they said, if you don't take this down, there'll be a 12-hour suspension. So he did.
Okay. Karen in Chicago. I'm going to need my binky early this morning. Hello, Karen.
Hi, good morning. Yeah, look, this is all nothing new, right? The Republican Party, this is who they have always been. Donald Trump, as we know, just says the quiet things out loud. He emboldened the worst people in this country that hold the worst worldviews. And the difference between, if you haven't watched Ken Burns' documentary or listened to Rachel Maddow's podcast, we have an entire party now that has been sitting by. They have never, when Trump was in office, leading in, when he was in office, and to this day, none of them ever come out and condone the violent rhetoric that he uses to incite his violent base. This is nothing new. We have seen this. And if we do not listen, and if we don't get everybody out to vote, we're in trouble. We're in really bad trouble.
Yeah. And, you know, of course, Trump has said nothing. You're right.
No, I mean, not a word.
No.
Then, by the way, just a bit, again, compare and contrast. Did you see President Obama out there? Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. I mean, A, what a rock star, but B, just, you know, the way he handled that heckler, just the humor, the humanity. It's like, that's who we are. That's what we got to do in a week, Karen. We have to reclaim that America.
And the media, please wake up. No, this is not both sides. No.
Oh my God, I couldn't watch Chuck Todd. Did Chuck Todd both sides it? Did he? I don't want to know.
I didn't watch.
I don't watch anymore.
But I mean, it's just like no Democrat has ever incited, even that person that went and shot, you know, Steve Scalise. That Bernie never incited violence.
Right.
And every single Democrat, everybody came out and condemned
it immediately. Yeah. Yeah, and it just, that's the thing. They take, you know, one or two instances and that's, oh, well, see, it's both sides. It's on both sides. And it just, as, you know, I read in Max Boot's opinion piece, it just statistically is just hugely, you know, untrue. It is clearly a one-sided problem. And it just, you're right, the media is part of that.
Absolutely. And it's just, I don't understand how they don't understand what is at stake. Their jobs.
But they just, as I said, Karen, they lost their soul. Can you almost, Chris, because you've been monitoring right-wing media a long time, you can almost feel the panic in the hallways of Fox when something like this happens. And then they're like, okay, how are we going to spin this? And then there they go. Just Democrats, soft on crime.
They were like, thank God it happened to Nancy Pelosi because we have a lot of ammunition on her. And people, our viewers hate her.